Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you are welcome. My name is Anita Fon, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload a new tutorial on my channel. If you're a old member, you are welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to cut and sew this circular pant step by step. So if you want to know how I'll be going about it, keep on watching. First thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and fold my fabric right side facing each other. After doing so, I will come here, I will mark a 4-inch downward and I'll connect it up with a straight line. And I'm also going to come to this side, I will mark 4-inch inward, I will connect it again with a straight line. So I went down by 4-inch and I went in by 4-inch. Now I'll take round my waist and divide it by 3. Round my waist is 27. 27 divided by 3 is going to give me 9-inch. Why am I dividing my waist into 3? Is because we are making a flare pant. So that 9-inch, I'm going to mark it all the way to this side. When I'm done doing so, I'm going to go ahead, I will connect it up like that. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is I will go ahead now, I'll connect this line all the way to that other end, and I'm also going to do the same thing to this side. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead, I'll mark my crotch depth line. To do so, I'll take round my hip and divide it by 4. Whatever I have, I'll add 1.5 inch to it. Later in the day, I realized that mine was a little bit tighter. So you should go ahead and add minimum of 2.5 inch to it. I'll be using a waistband of 2 inch. So I'll place my measurement from that 2 inch downward. I will mark that up. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now. I will divide 1/4 of my hip. Round my hip is 36. 36 divided by 4 is going to give me 9. I will take that 9-inch. I'm going to divide it again by 4. If I take 9-inch divided by 4, I'm going to end up with 2.025. I will mark it up here for the crotch extension of the back. Then I'm going to go out by 1 inch like you can see me doing. Then I'm going to connect it all the way here like this, like you can see me doing. I will go ahead to add 1.5 inch because I'll be adding up a zipper to it. After marking that up, I'm just kind of go ahead to connect it up like this, like you can see me doing right there. Then I'm going to connect this point up with a straight line all the way to that part. Now I will move now to the back. I'll still take round my hip and divide it by 4, whatever I have. I'm going to add 1.5 inch to it. Remember, I said you should go ahead and add minimum of 2.5 inch because mine was a little bit tighter. Okay, then I'll mark that up. I'll take 1/4 of my hip, divide it by 4. Mine is 9. 9 divided by 4 is going to give me 2.025. But because we are working off the crotch of the back, you're going to be adding 1 inch to it. Altogether, it's going to give us 3.025. I'm going to mark that up here like this. Then I'll go ahead now. I'll come here. I'm going to go out by 1 inch. I'm going to connect it all the way like this. After doing so, I'm going to go ahead. I'll be using my curve. You can use your French curve or use your freehand, whatever you have at home. Okay, it's fine. Now I'll measure up whatever I have from this point. I'm going to minus 1 inch from there. Now minus 1 inch from there, I have 3.025 minus 1 inch. I'll be left with 2.025. I'll go ahead and mark it up like this, like you can see me doing. Just mark it all the way straight downward, and we're going to go ahead and connect it up. I'm sorry if you cannot see what I'm doing here, but later on I will move, then I'll show you what I was explaining. You see what I just did there? So I'm repeating again. Take 1/4 of your hip, divide it by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to add 1.5 inch. Remember, I said you should add minimum of 2.5 inch because I noticed mine was a bit tighter. Then take now 1/4 of your hip, divide it again by 4. After doing so, you're going to add 1.5 inch for smaller size. For bigger size, add at least 2 inch. Okay, mark that up. After doing so, what you're going to do is to go out here by 1 inch, and then you're going to connect it all the way like this. Okay, then you measure up whatever you have here, and you're going to minus 1 inch from there. Okay, I'm repeating this particular section because you do not see what I did before. All right, so just go ahead and mark it up, and then you're going to connect it up all the way straight downward. We're still going to come to the front, measure up whatever you have. You're going to minus 1 inch from there, connect it all the way straight downward, then you rule a straight line. Okay, don't forget to add your sewing allowance. Add up your sewing allowance. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark the length. Remember that we'll be using a waistband of 2 inch. So you're marking your length starting from that 2 inch downward. I'll just go ahead. My length is 42. I'll go ahead and mark it all the way around. Look at the way I'm holding up my tape, moving up and marking that up. You should do the same. So after which you've connected it, you realize that there's a part that is being short. We are going to cut another piece of fabric, then we'll add it up here, we'll complete our length, then we'll continue from where we stop. Then we'll attach that. That is going to be for the back. Make sure that this part like this should be the back, so when you attach it, you join it up together. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I've just grabbed my fabric. I'm going to fold it again into 2. Remember, fold it again into 2. Then you complete that shortest of fabric right there. Then you mark up your length. All right, mark up your length. Then you can go ahead and cut that up. Then I will cut that up. Remember to add your 1/2 inch of sewing allowance. As you can see, I do not add it. Add it up. I know why I'm saying this. After doing so, go ahead now to level it up the front and the back, so you should know which part goes to the front and the other side to the back. The next thing I did was to go ahead and join it up here like this, as you can see, and I also pressed that up to lay everything flat. I'll go ahead, I'll be pinning up the back, the crotch of the back like this. Then I'll do the same thing to the front, but remember we'll be adding up our zipper here at the front, so I'll start pinning from this point downward like this. After pinning, I'm going to take it to the machine. I'll be stitching 1/2 inch away. Just mark where I will start stitching from. I'm going to stitch like that, okay? When I'm done stitching, I'll go ahead to zigzag it, or you can overlock it. Then I'll be joining the end seams together and pin that up. After pinning, I will take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch away all the way to the other side. Go ahead and overlock this or zigzag it. So this is what it's looking like, right? I'm going to go ahead now. I'll be adding up my zipper. I'll go ahead now. I'll add up my zip to it. So what I did was to go ahead and just press it flat. All right, I'll be taking up my zipper. I'll just place it on top and I'll go ahead to pin that up. But before I do so, I will just measure that 1.5 inch that I kept for my zipper allowance all the way straight downward. Then I'm going to connect it up with a straight line like this or dotted line. I'll take my zipper, I'll pin that up all the way to that point. After pinning it up, I'll take it to my machine. I'm going to stitch that up. And if your fabric is light, make sure you add an interfacing to this part. Then when you're done stitching, top stitch it. So you can see this is what it's looking like. I will just put my hemming gum inward so that when I press it up, it will stick that allowance. Okay, it should stick to it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I measure 1/2 inch inward, I press, and I also measure 1 inch inward, I press. I'll first of all start and place it up right on that 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and measure up the top part now to make sure that it aligns with the other side as well. Pin that up right on that 1/2 inch that I measure there and you press. Then after pinning, I'm going to take it to the machine. I'll go ahead now to stitch that up. So when I'm done stitching, this is what it looked like. That 1 inch, we're going to flip it up like this and press that up. This way, that 1 inch will be able to cover up, that's to overlap this other part here. Look at what I'm demonstrating here. All right, you see what I'm referring to? That 1 inch will be able to overlap here up like this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is to go ahead and press that up, then you take it to the machine and you're going to just stitch that up like this. Okay. So when I'm done stitching it, this is what it's looking like. As you can see, it has covered that part up. Zip your zipper downward like this to check if the thing is zipping well. The next thing I did was to cut my waistband of 5 inch. Then I folded 1/2 inch inward, 1/2 inch inward. I press that up and I press it again in the center. And how long it is around my waist measurement. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'll be stitching it up like this, then I'll flip that inward like this, making sure that I put out all the edges that I want them to be inside. So I'm just going to take my pants, I'll just put it in between like this. I'll be putting it in between. Sorry if I'm a bit far away from the camera, but just put it in between, then you're going to be stitching that up. Okay, if you're a beginner, you make sure you pin it very well. All right, in between you stitch and go, and you make sure that everything matches up. Nothing should be twisted along the line. when I'm done stitching this up, practically we'll go ahead to add up a buttonhole, right? Then I'll be hemming the downer part of it. Then we'll be done with this tutorial. So I hope you find it helpful. If you do, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I hope to see you on my next DIY.